I'm Bam and I'm a peace builder, currently based in Cotabato because of the lockdown.
I'm Bogs Tanggol, and I am the Peace Action Coordinator of the Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology and Associate Lecturer of the Department of Political Science of the same university.
Ramadan is part of the 5 pillars of Islam. Ramadan is the month, but it's called Saum.
Ramadan is the holy month of the Islamic calendar. It is the 9th month, and it is the month during which the Holy Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad.
From what I understand, the idea of fasting is not just to starve yourself. When you are deprived of food and water, it makes you feel a bit more connected in a spiritual sense.
During the month of Ramadan, we engage in fasting or saum, and it is an opportunity for us to draw closer to God or to Allah, and also an opportunity for us to practice patience, self-control, to avoid what is forbidden, and also to exemplify generosity, compassion, and as well as cooperation with the members of our society. Ramadan starts with the intention of the Muslim, the intention to fast. And usually our days start with what is known as the suhoor, or a pre-dawn meal, where we eat a little bit of food, of course drink, and then from sunrise until sunset, Muslims must fast, meaning we cannot eat, nor can we drink. And also during this time, we must avoid acts that would disqualify or invalidate our fast. And then when the sun sets, that's the time when we can break our fast in a meal known as iftar.
Every night, we have this thing called tarawih, which is when you pray together with your community. Usually you would do that in a mosque. So you do that every night. That's tarawih. It's the Ramadan prayer, nightly Ramadan prayer.
Our current normal, where we are obliged by the government to engage in social distancing, definitely affects how Muslims all over the world, particularly in the Philippines, practice Ramadan. I think some of the negatives that I see are, for instance, the lack of congregational prayers and gathering during iftar. As I said, it is social. So normally, in normal times, we would be going to the mosque during Ramadan, as we always do.
There are actually chapters or verses, and even in the Quran or hadiths and sunnahs about it, wherein the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that when there is a plague at a certain city and you're not from the city, then you should not go there. And if you are in that city while the plague is happening, then you should not leave. So there are actually sayings about it in the Islamic sense.
Another aspect that is affected by the lockdown is that many of the Muslim families do not have a ready access to the basic needs that they would need during the time of Ramadan. It is easier for cities or bigger cities where groceries are open and accessible. However, I know that there are many other cities or even communities in the Philippines where Muslims do not have the same luxury of accessing basic necessities such as food.
The thing is, back then, especially if you're working and you're very busy, you would find a lot of excuses on why you wouldn't do things. Like, I will skip today's prayer because I have a meeting, or I will only pray when I get home, things like that. But because we're all stuck at home, so there's no excuse not to pray. Not just Muslims, but everyone really became more compassionate, a bit emotional even. And I think more than just bringing out compassion, what the ECQ actually did is to highlight our privileges. What are the things that we can do despite these limitations? Not everyone has been compassionate, but they have definitely been more sensitive, realizing that this situation affects all of us, but it affects all of us differently.
There are many ways by which Muslims are trying to cope with our new normal when it comes to practicing fasting during Ramadan. I think for one, Muslims have been trying to use creative means or other platforms, for instance, in order to spread the message of Islam. Families in particular have also used these platforms in order to connect with their family and relatives. We noticed that in my family in particular, we noticed that in the increase in our social media engagements. So we often chat or video call with our relatives in order to ask how they are and ask what they're doing during the time of Ramadan.
The lesson that Ramadan is supposed to teach us, but we always forget, is that it shouldn't end when the month ends. The month will be our practice month, but then we would continue being the best citizens or the best persons and best versions of ourselves even after that.
My message then to my fellow Muslims, not just in the Philippines but all over the world, is take this time to build your relationship with your personal family, with your family members. If you live in one house, then it's actually more opportunity or more time to be together during meal times, during iftar, during prayers. Lastly, I think you should also use this opportunity to look more into yourself and see how you can, what are the things that you have been blessed with before that you can no longer, or you are no longer enjoying now, and how can you improve yourself as a Muslim in order to not just cope with the new normal, but in order to help alleviate some of the difficulties that your fellow Muslims or even non-Muslims may be experiencing during the time of lockdown.